Hello, and welcome to another deck tech on Xeno MTG. Today, we'll be looking at Dragonstorm, which is in my opinion the most powerful of all the Storm decks. The main goal of Dragonstorm is to accumulate 9 mana, and 4 to 5 spells cast during one turn in order to use the Dragonstorm card to pull multiple dragons out of your library, killing your opponent quickly and without risk to you. I usually start with the creatures and spells, but today I want to start with the land base, as explaining the spells will be the main point of this video. As I said earlier, this deck is all about getting as much mana as fast as possible. The 3 Ancient Tombs are great cards to use for this purpose, as their only drawback for their 2 colorless mana is 2 damage to the caster. This is fine in this deck, as you will likely kill your opponent a lot faster than Ancient Tomb can kill you. There are 3 Badlands and 2 Volcanic Islands to provide flexible mana with 0 drawback. It's useful to have dual lands, but they are expensive, and cheaper lands such as Steam Vents or Blood Crypt are recommended for players on a budget. As this deck only has 16 lands and counts more on spells for mana acceleration, fetch lands are very important. 4 Bloodstained Mire and 4 Scalding Tarn are used both to cut the costs of having more of the original dual lands and to provide accuracy in choosing the land cards you fetch. Sometimes, no matter how much of a certain type of mana you have, you just can't seem to draw them. These fetch lands will help remedy that problem. Dragonstorm works on 2 key types of spells, mana producing and mana accelerant spells, and helper spells that make the others more available. The mana producing spells, which incidentally make storming quite easy, are 1 Soul Ring, which costs 1 and can add 2 to your mana pool immediately. 4 Lotus Petal, which is an amazing card in this deck as it costs 0, so it adds storm counters for free and you can sack it for 1 mana of any color, which you really need to use only once because you'll probably storm the turn that you use them. There's also 1 Mana Crypt to add to the 0 cost spells and add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool. It has the flip a coin drawback, but once again, when you use this, it's your intent to not go to the next turn. There are also 4 Manamorphose. This allows you to easily convert 1 plus red into any combination of colors. This is great because it allows mana-screwed players to still cast the amazing black spells in this deck. Speaking of which, there are 4 Dark Rituals, which allow you a net gain of 2 mana, increasing the amount of spells you can cast on your turn. There are also 4 Seething Song, which create 5 red for 3, also giving a net gain of 2 mana. The most interesting mana-producing spell is definitely the 4 Rite of Flame, which give a net gain of 1, but allow you to increase that gain based on the amount in your graveyard. These spells all culminate in the casting of any of the 4 Dragonstorms in your deck, which allow you to search your library for a dragon card, put it into play for 1 red and 8 colorless. It also has Storm, so it allows you to do this for every spell cast beforehand. Because all the mana spells have net mana gain, and all the 0 costs both add mana immediately and increase storm counts for free, it's quite easy to build up that 9 mana quickly and cast this spell with the desired 4 to 5 storm counters. Before I go into detail on what you'll be fetching with Dragonstorm, I just want to show all of the hand fixer spells that ensure this combo comes to fruition. Firstly, we have 1 Yawgmoth's Will, which allow all spells in your graveyard to have flashback, which is great because this includes all the free spells as well as the net mana gain accelerants. Next we have a Tutor package, which has 1 Vampiric Tutor, 1 Demonic Tutor, and 1 Mystical Tutor. These cards function to stock your hand with the necessary combo pieces needed to properly Dragonstorm. Finally, there are 4 Brainstorm to get rid of cards you don't need and potentially craft a better hand, and there are 3 Pact of Negation, which hilariously cost 0, counter a spell, and make you lose the game if you don't pay 3+2 blue in your next upkeep. The fun part is that you get free protection for your Dragonstorm, an extra storm counter, and if you kill your opponent, you'll never get to your next upkeep. Now the dragons you will play in Dragonstorm will vary based on your opponent. If you're doing this combo early on, or your opponent is at 20 life or lower, simply storm for 4, pull out 4 Bogardan Hellkite, dealing 5 damage each upon entering the battlefield, and you've effectively dealt 20 damage without even attacking. If an opponent has higher than 20 life, you should get the storm count to 5, and pull the 4 Hellkites along with Karrthus Tyrant of Jund. He will give you extra damage himself, but also he will give haste to all your Hellkites and allow them to attack for an extra 20 on top of the 20 they already dealt from simply being played. The 2 Hellkite Overlords are simply here for fun, in case you should get a higher storm count, and they just add an extra punch to your attack phase and extra shame for your opponent. I want to thank SearingFlames for this awesome list, and if you want to see how it looks in all its glory, here's a short video of him panning over the deck and showing its contents. Thank you for watching another deck tech on Xeno MTG. Have a good